I remember in college when I took my first sculpture class, just being amazed that you could turn a drawing or an idea into a piece of physical reality. Since then, I've focused primarily on sculpture, although I still do a fair amount of drawing, video work, photography, and usually sculpture that is made for a certain site. So the focus isn't on just one object, it's the relationship between the object and its location. Sometimes multiple locations, sometimes one. Typically outdoors, but also indoors. I've always been drawn to these certain natural areas, things like rivers, oceans, mountains, deserts that I've always found so interesting physically in terms of how they come to be, but also I see them really as a rich metaphor for psychological terrain. So there's this back and forth between external landscape, external terrain, and an interior psychological terrain. Much of my work, the sculptural pieces, I often take photos and videos of the works, and then I reframe those photos and videos to be separate works. I'll show them indoors. And I think of those as completely separate pieces from the sculptural pieces. For example, this house in Denmark that was constructed from aluminum tent poles. It's a very physical and perceptual experience as you're walking toward it. It changes from a line drawing to a three-dimensional structure. The scale is very ambiguous until you get close. And you can contrast that with the series of images I took that I also display, which speak more to drawing and photography and a compression of space. I just finished building a piece in Germany. It's part of a larger exhibition with a number of sculptures in a forest. It was a great chance to work outdoors for 3 weeks. I brought some generators, a bunch of power tools, had a whole wood shop set up in the forest. And it was very much a site piece. It was built on site, it won't be moved. I found a large fallen oak tree, and I decided to construct a wandering wooden carpentry-built line out of Douglas fir. It's about, I'd say at least 60 feet long, wandering through the woods. Sometimes it cuts into the tree, other times the line mimics the shape of parts of the tree. Right now I'm working on a giant quilt of the Pacific Ocean. And this is going to be both a bed covering, but also an item that will be made for a gallery space. This piece is a companion piece of sorts to a previous work on the shore of the Pacific Ocean in Santa Monica, where I built a bed out of wood and then designed a steel anchoring system. So it didn't float, it was meant to be more like these rocks you'd see on the shore that act as these markers of high and low water levels. So in a way now, a number of years later, this quilt piece is a bookend to that project. I could have gone into science strictly. I could have been a geomorphologist. That would have been quite interesting, but I would have always been wanting to pull it out from just a strict physical interpretation to more poetic and metaphorical levels.